Hi, I'm Meg Zigzewski, and today we'll be interviewing Ella about the novel Tomorrow When the War Began. What is one of the settings of the book and how it is important to the novel?
Hell. Hell is at the valley at the bottom of Taylor's Stitch. Hell is where the group sets up their base camp before the invasion and after the invasion of the Japanese soldiers. Hell is important to the story because the teenagers believe it is their safe haven to get away from the real hell that is happening in Wirrawee.
What was one of the major themes in the novel?
One of the major themes in the novel is resilience. The teenagers show resilience by not giving up after being attacked, shot at, and losing their families. Each character has their own issue, but has to put it aside or overcome it after each time something terrible happens.
How does the main character evolve or change throughout the story?
The main character, Ellie, changes throughout the story when she becomes more brave. Ellie was prepared to lead an act of sabotage, where she could have been killed, shows her ability to survive and fight as well.
Did certain parts of the book lead the reader into a new understanding of or awareness of society?
Certain parts of the book lead the reader into a new awareness in society by showing how privileged Australia is. Australia needs to share its wonderful resources with some of the less fortunate countries around the world.
How is the author's view of the world reflected in the events in the book?
The author's view of the world is reflected in the events of the book. We can assume that John Marston feels that the Japanese is a nation that is capable of war and invasion.
Does the novel explore difference?
Tomorrow When the War Began explores difference when the teenagers return from their camping trip and notice that all their homes are strangely different. There is no power supply, dogs are dead, and homes are empty. I'm Ella Robson, and now we'll be interviewing Maya. How is the theme hell important to the story?
Hell is an important theme in the story as that is where the 7 teenagers set up their stuff at the base, known as Hell. This makes Hell important because it is the main theme in the novel, because it is where the adventure starts, and it is before they discover the unexpected visit from the Japanese soldiers. It is important because they call Hell their home and their place to get away from the soldiers.
How does resilience symbolise the characters?
This novel shows resilience very well as they become face to face with the soldiers. After they are all fighting, they seem to get back up each time and keep going, even when their friends have been shot.
How does the main character, Ellie, change throughout the story?
Ellie shows how brave she is in the story as she is the one to build up her strength and blow up the bridge. Ellie shows courage as this young teenager does something that you wouldn't expect to do in your real life.
In the events of the book, they reveal evidence on the author's worldview. What is that view?
When the 7 teenagers arrive home, everyone is gone. The town looks completely different. They soon realise that there is a war going on, and that people are trying to take over. This shows the author's view on the world by giving out that there are people fighting. The author doesn't like the world because there is a war going on.
Are there parts in this novel that lead readers into a new awareness in society?
In this novel, there are many horrifying things going on. For example, the soldiers trying to take over, people fighting against these teenagers. This shows the reader to be more aware of society, that these things actually can happen.